I became the first shop steward, black, in the hot strip mill in 1947.
Do you remember who were your officers of the union at the time?
Yes. Chris Lucas was the president at that time. He was a wonderful person. He was of the Greek nationality, and he treated people right. He did the best he could do.
Now, was he from Weirton, West Virginia? Do you know?
I do not know where he was from, because the Greeks he lived somewhere around Highlandtown, around Highlandtown and Eastern Avenue, somewhere in there. But Chris Lucas was the president. I was the first elected shop steward in my mill, and then first black, and I was also the first elected assistant grievance committeeman.
Now, what got you interested in the union?
What got me interested in the union is the stuff that I'd taken in the Marine Corps, the unjust situation, and then at Bethlehem Steel, I'm looking at the same thing. All blacks working in the labor department. We got steel running down approximately 2 blocks long. The steel is traveling, comes out of the furnace on a conveyor line and travels on down, and it's in a bar this thick, and it comes all the way down. It comes down, and it's running a couple thousand feet. And the thing that got me is the fact that if any of the workers down in the coil pit where the steel is going to curl up, and if any workers stay out, they will call the labor department where I worked at and say, send me someone down here to work today. Send me someone down here tomorrow morning. And you go down and you work with the white all day long, you see. You're doing the bottom job down there, but you're down there. And then you can work down there 30 days, 60 days, a year, going down, and we're going down, but you could not become a part of it. And that it stayed in my craw.
Did by the time you got to Sparrows Point, the union had only been there about 4 years.
Oh, the union had been there longer than that.
Well, it came in September of 1941.
42, I think.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
But were people you work with talk about what it was like before the union?
No, because most of them was white, and white didn't want to have a conversation like that at that time. That's the way the system was at that time. And Baltimore City itself didn't remove segregated laws off their books until 1947, you see. And the first time that a black could go to the theater with white was at the town theater in 1951, because the Roosevelt story came out. In order for the Roosevelt story to be shown in the theater, it had to be non-segregated. And I even went to the town theater there on Fayette Street. So things were just bad at that time. And in the union, they did not believe, white didn't need a union, really didn't need a union. God bless them that they paid the dues, but they didn't need a union because they could get things done. It was the blacks that really, they paid no attention to it. And I don't know whether you call it, I'd been reared in the South, and I hate segregation, and discrimination. So therefore, I started working with the blacks that were being sent home for nothing, you know. If they come in late, they sent them home, and it unjust stuff I could not take. So I started representing them, and I stopped all that foolishness too. You know, that's the thing that make it so good. My general foreman was an elder person. He didn't have much to do for blacks, but the fact he worked with them, so therefore you could get along. And he and I got to be good buddies. He loved to go to the horse races. I could call him at his home, and if he's not there, I could tell him of a situation, and I tell his wife of a situation that's going on at the mill. They're denying this man the right to go down on the job, and the job not going to work unless it. And she would say, "You tell him that my husband said, let him go ahead." You see, and that's the kind of rapport that we built up, you know.
So one of the big issues at that time was